Hey there everyone, how we all doing? Today we finally have LawBreakers beta in our hands, and I wanted to go ahead and give you my first impressions of all the new characters, maps, whatever, just give you my thoughts on how pretty much everything is going so far. Let's get started, guys. First, let's go ahead and cover all the roles in the game. We'll start out with Vanguard, and she is, I think, just this exemplary character. She is exactly what every class in this game ought to be. She's really good at moving fast, doing a lot of damage, but it takes some skill to do either of those things as effectively as possible. She does have bunny hopping, which is a skill requirement in managing your fuel appropriately. She does have that spin up time on her chain gun, but it does a lot of damage when it's spun up, and it is very, very rewarding of aim. Her abilities, again, consume resources and do high damage, but require good skill and positioning, and overall, she's just a really fun character to play. She's capable of doing a lot of different things. She can fit in a lot of different roles. She can do stuff that no other characters can by shooting her primary while going super fast by turbo boosting with her jetpack. It's really, really cool. I love the way the character looks and feels and operates, and I think that she should be a great example of how everyone else in the game is built. I don't think that she's overpowered. I don't think that she's underpowered. I think that she's just a great character. Next up we have Enforcer. Now that is absolutely a class that Boss Key could have gotten very, very wrong, but they did a good job with it, I feel. They didn't really make it seem as crazy as it has been in the past. That assault rifle feels relatively balanced. If you're really good at aiming, you're going to shred through people in like record time, so that's really neat that you can do that and you have that potential, but again, there is always that idea of trying to manage your resources. Sometimes you don't have a lot of fuel and you need to stand still if you want to shoot your gun at full speed and not run out of fuel. So there's a lot of give and take with the character. I think that he's, again, well balanced, just like Vanguard is. I don't think that he's terribly overpowered. I just think that he's really strong, but I don't think that he's at the state of being overpowered. I'm also very happy that we've seen some nerfs to his ultimate ability because that makes it less of an I win button like it used to be, so he's in a great spot right now. I wouldn't suggest any changes to him. I think that we just need to let him rock for a while and see how the rest of the characters develop and then go back to Enforcer later on, because currently there's other fish to fry. Enforcer is fine. Next up we have Titan. In my opinion, Titan feels a little bit weak outside of objective defense in game modes like Overcharge and Uplink. It's not to say that the character is bad or underpowered, I just have a difficult time justifying his usage in a lot of cases. I do feel that he's valuable to have as a one-of on every team, but I don't know. Like, I just don't really know any good Titan players. I haven't really played against any good Titan players. I'm certainly not a good Titan player. I'm actually very, very bad at Titan. So I'm not sure if this is just a matter of me being inexperienced and me not playing as anyone who is more experienced with the character, and that's kind of coloring my opinions, or if there's something else at play here with Titan. This is another one where I want to see until the end of the beta to see what truly happens with this character, and I kind of need to learn more about it, but my first impression is that he just seems a little bit weak, and it feels bad that I have to use my rockets to rocket jump to get anywhere fast because that reload takes so long, and I need to use 2 rockets to actually get anywhere, so that's 100 health down, that's 2 rockets down, I have 3 rockets left to kill people, and if I miss one of those, then good luck actually killing someone in those 2 rockets I have left. So then I have to wait for that reload period, or I have to get really close and switch to my lightning gun, or I guess I should say the crisper. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's something not quite right about Titan. Like, if Titan had 6 rockets in mag instead of 5, I'm curious how much better of a character it might feel like to me. Conversely, if I did less self-damage on those rockets for rocket jumping, I wonder if it would feel like a significantly better character. I wonder if it would be that simple, but I'm not sure. Next up, the new changes for Assassin feel really, really good. It makes the character feel a little bit less scrubby and feels like it takes more skill to use. Personally, I don't like it just because I don't like the focus on the blades. I generally really dislike the focus on melee attacks in first-person shooters. I think that that's a bad move in general, but I do feel like it's a good accessibility option for players who are less skilled or who play on like 2 centimeters per 360 sensitivities, that they can actually compete by using something that doesn't require as much aim or any aim. So that's fine that it exists, and it's fine that it's powerful. It does have a really, really neat role for just ripping through juggernauts and ripping through titans in record times. Like, the way that they can destroy these characters is unparalleled, and Assassin ought to fulfill that role, and that's good. I just personally don't like playing with a blade focus. I like playing Assassin with a shotgun focus, and that's no longer possible because the shotgun was dumpstered in the last patch. So, Assassin's not a bad character. You're not bad for playing her or whatever. Don't take any of that away from this, but something I personally no longer enjoy that much just because of the forced playstyle that you have to have. So, that's not a bad thing. Boss Key didn't do the wrong thing. They did the right thing for their game. Not for me, though. Next up, we have Battle Medic. She feels a lot less oppressive than she used to be. With those shields, she was just so nuts when you were putting those shields on Juggernauts and Assassin players as they were going nuts on people. It was a little bit too much to deal with. So, Battle Medic feels like she was properly reined in now, but otherwise, nothing was really changed. It's just she shields a little bit less is the main thing, and her healing is a little bit slower. So, she feels more in line with the rest of the cast, and that's about all the feedback I have. She feels good still. She's really fun to play, and is a really solid pickup for any team. Next, we have Juggernaut, the beast himself. He is in a much better place right now, but only time is going to tell if he's a little bit overtuned or not. He's fun to play, although it's not really my playstyle again. Like, he's just a little bit slow and awkward, and when you sprint, you can't sprint diagonally. When you, like, you have to just sprint in a straight line, and when you move your aim, your whole body turns that direction. Like, he cannot detach his head from the rest of his body, so there's just some fundamentals of the character that are awkward to me, and I don't like the way they feel. But it's not to say a bad thing about Juggernaut. He's a really insanely good hero right now. I definitely recommend that you pick him and get good with him and play him, because he has extreme value, especially in modes like Blitzball, where he can just wall people off, and he can do things that no one else can do. He creates a defense that no one else can create. So he's a really strong character for that purpose, but I just don't really see him as being overpowered or overtuned. I thought he would be, but I'm not really seeing it. He just feels good right now. I did play against one really good Juggernaut who was stacked up with a really good team, and it felt like I was slamming my head against the wall, but I'm not sure if that's because the Juggernaut was too strong, or if it was because the team play was better than ours, and I simply wasn't good enough as a player. So, hard to say. But this is another one that I think we need to watch over time to really know for sure. Gunslinger has been changed as well in a minor way, with his long-range revolver pistol, the Omega, being made better. A little bit more damage, a little bit better ranged characteristics, and it feels really, really nice. If you're a good gunslinger, you can 3-tap pretty much any class if you get some good headshots in there, and it feels phenomenal when you just rip through people using this guy. He has a lot of potential for very high-skilled players to absolutely destroy opposing players. He's a really, really good pickup. I think he's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend that if you have good aim, you play the Gunslinger, because he is borderline oppressive. I played against one really good Gunslinger on my stream yesterday, and oh my god. Like, he was not missing any shots. He was ripping through me, ripping through GameSager, ripping through everyone on my team with impunity. So, I strongly recommend that if you have the aim to carry you through this character, Gunslinger might be the guy for you. He just has so much potential if you're a good player, and I'm really excited to continue playing him and getting good with him, because the way that I got stomped was unbelievable for this game. So I definitely want to learn to stomp people like that guy stomped me, because Gunslinger he's got that potential, man. Give him a shot. Finally, we have the Wraith. The Wraith is considered by the majority of the community playing this game so far to be grossly overpowered. I think that it's kind of just every part of his kit being a little bit overtuned. His SMG does way too much damage. Every shot is doing like a good 20, 22 damage per hit with a very high rate of fire and very high accuracy if you just click it, like tap, 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 like this, like you can hear if you just do that, basically. With little holds in between, so like you're almost not even interrupting your rate of fire. It does insane damage with insane accuracy. It's such a good gun. It does so many things so well. My suggestion would be maybe that the bloom should not be resetting as quickly as it is, because that aiming bloom, that inaccuracy bloom of your crosshair as you're holding the trigger down resets very quickly when you let go of the button. So it might be as simple as making it a little bit less quick of a return to full accuracy when you let go of the trigger to make that thing a little bit more balanced, because it is a really tiny, really crappy one-handed SMG. Like, it's okay if the accuracy isn't perfect, I think. I mean, it's nice that it feels accurate, and if it was very inaccurate, I would whine about that too. It's impossible to please me, but maybe it's just the value of the damage numbers need to be changed. I don't know what needs to be changed with them exactly, but all I can say for sure is that that SMG pistol is feeling too strong right now. Bosky really needs to consider doing something to it to bring it back in line, because very, very bad players with very bad aim are able to absolutely melt people, and players with really good aim are unparalleled. They are better than enforcers, just straight up. Like, if you're going to play the enforcer style role, you're better off playing Wraith, because Wraith is going to be more accurate and deal more damage. Like, there's kind of no point in playing Enforcer right now, because the Wraith is just so much better at playing that hit scan role. So, do think he needs to see some nerfs in that aspect. The knife also feels very spammable. So if you're a bad player, you're not great at aiming, you're not great at moving, you're not great at whatever, well, Wraith is kind of for you, because Wraith's mobility options recharge extremely fast. His knife happens extremely fast and does very high damage. It's very, very easy to use, very brain dead to use. I do think that a lot of that stuff needs to be reined in to make Wraith the skill-based class he's supposed to be, because it doesn't feel like you're playing Genji with him. It feels like you're playing Genji on training wheels when you play Wraith. Genji takes a lot of skill to play well. You know, if you want to actually carry teams with him and get a lot of frags with him and stay alive, you got to play smart. You got to position smart. You got to know when to go in and when not to go in. And with Wraith, that seems less important. With Wraith, it's kind of just, you just go fast all the time, because you always have that slide. You always have 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps, depending on how many walls are nearby. You move so fast all the time, and it's just hard to deal with. Now, most players cannot deal with Wraith's movement, while at the same time, Wraith is doing infinity damage to people. So, I do think that that damage needs to be reined in. I do think his mobility needs to be made a little bit harder. It needs to be just something that he has to work harder for to actually accomplish. But, I mean, I don't know. It is day one after all. Maybe that's just the first impression of Wraith that I'm getting, and over time, once I get better at the game, once everyone gets better at the game, Wraith is going to feel more normalized, is going to feel more average. But at the moment, I and a lot of people in the community are saying that Wraith is a little strong. So maybe it's not just me being bad. Maybe a lot of people all having the same opinion and coming to the same conclusion as I am is not totally that far-fetched. So we'll have to see. Once this beta concludes and we have a lot more time and a lot more data, we can make a more accurate prediction of where we think Wraith should go. But at this point, I say just let it rock and we'll see. But it's questionable. It feels really bad getting destroyed by Wraith players over and over, because a lot of times it doesn't feel like they deserve it. It doesn't feel like they earned that victory. It just feels like their damaged values are carrying them to it. So, I don't know. We'll see, guys. Moving on to the rest of the game before we sign off for today, I have no complaints about any of the maps so far. They're all feeling really great. You're going to need a lot of time on them to get used to them and to just feel comfortable on them. Vertigo in particular is feeling really fun to me when I play as the Vanguard class. It's just so much fun flying all over the place, flying behind the enemy's base and stealing all their health packs, getting on their health station, and being in the very back of their base where they have to completely disengage from the fight to engage me, but I can very easily just come around a wall and shoot their whole team and drop a grenade on them, pulsar them, and ult them, and do 1 billion damage right off their spawn and just camp them like crazy. And have that actually be beneficial to my team. Like, I'm not so far disconnected from my team that I can't come back and help them, right? The map is so small that I can stay in their spawn and be that really mean, rude player, and then get back to my team on the B point in the middle if I need to in record time. Like, it's actually really fun. So if you're not liking this map so far, I strongly recommend you give Vanguard a try on it. You play aggressive with her, learn the health packs, and just play that way, because trust me, it is a lot of fun. Next up, I do have a few complaints about the game. One is about the private match system and how that works. So, first up, when you're at the main menu, you click on play, you're going to click on create a custom match. Once you click on create a custom match, it's going to ask you to pick your settings. So what map do you want, what mode do you want, blah, 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 all that stuff. You can change it, alter it however you like. Once you click OK on that menu, the game instantly starts searching for a server for you, and it puts you into a game. Which is terrible, because once you pick your settings, you can't actually invite people to your game because it just throws you into a match right away. So they need to make it so once you click OK on choosing your settings, it doesn't search for a map, and that you have a play button, and you have to click play in order for it to actually create that server and spin it up and then put you into the game. Like, it just doesn't work effectively. I've had a couple of times where I've created a lobby, and then I've picked the map and mode that I want, and then I try to start inviting people, and 2 or 3 people get in, and then the lobby starts, and then the rest of the people can't get in, or if they do get in, they're just on random teams, and I can't click end game. There's no end game button, so we have to all disconnect and then reconnect to a new server, and hopefully we don't forget to click on the cancel search button to actually stop that server from just spinning up against my control and against my wishes. So that needs to be addressed, that needs to be fixed, because that's really, really annoying for players who don't play a lot of private matches and don't understand why that happens, because it's not readily apparent when you're first starting it off. I didn't realize that's what was happening, that it was automatically searching. I need to click cancel on top right corner until like 2 hours into private matches I figured that out by myself. So there's something that needs to happen there to make that a little bit more accessible for dummies like me to figure out. So anyways, everyone, that's going to do it for me today. That's already been like almost 18 minutes of just talking about the first day of impressions, which is nuts. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more LawBreakers to come. I'm going to be streaming very soon here. As soon as you're seeing this video, I should already be live for day 2 of LawBreakers, so you go and check that out. Other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Take care.